I am Jason Kiefer, and it's one more, and I'm out of here. So illegal shift. In reality, I'm actually John. We're doing the show where first responders respond to sports. It's a big weekend. We're heading into Thanksgiving, a time to be thankful. I love Thanksgiving, and it's not just because of family. In fact, I'm overcoming family in order to embrace sports for this Thanksgiving. It's going to be a wonderful time. Kiefer, host of One More and I'm Out of Here. How the heck are you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Got off work this morning. Had a nice quiet overnight hours, which was good. A little rare for us, but it's good. And leading into when I got home, I was like, "Oh, holiday mode for 2 days before I go back to work."
Okay, so you're already off for the weekend?
I work. I go back on Friday.
Okay. I got to work tonight, and then I'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the morning of Sunday. So I'm going to have a nice little stretch away.
There you go.
It's getting busy for me, but you said that you were able to sleep last night at work. The thing that would get me fired, you were able to do some of that.
Surprisingly quiet. I don't know why.
Meanwhile, I was at home, unable to sleep. The thing that I do to make me happier, I wasn't able to do that. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Illegal Shift. We hope that you're having a great week. There's not a lot of programming on our affiliate network, Failure to Stop at Fox News this week, because Eric's out there deep in the wood, probably watching a town with binoculars or something. I have no idea what he's up to. He's out there doing something. So good luck to the Tansy family and whatever else you're doing this weekend. Just thank you in general we've been doing Illegal Shift for a year now, Keith. I don't know if you realize that.
Yeah, coming right up on it.
Yeah, it was before Thanksgiving last year that we started. Actually,
I thought it was right after, but okay, yeah, I trust
you. It was early November, I think, early to mid November.
Seems like yesterday.
I know, every episode so glorious. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for
every week. You have to talk with me multiple times.
Oh, I genuinely
you're like, oh my god, it's been a year.
I genuinely enjoy this. There have been podcasts that I have done where I'm just like, well, this is a bit of a chore, but podcasting with you and bullshitting about sports is always easy. I just appreciate you make up for it, because in very early episodes, like I was constantly criticizing the Catholic Church and the Great Schism, and I think it took a while to kind of get into a rhythm. And now we consistently just talk about sports. That being said, I've developed a very complex and serious metaphor that will compare the Cowboys to the Israelites post-Egypt, Book of Exodus. So get ready for that. So you're just like, I'll be getting a beer out of the fridge during that speech. So thanks for giving me a heads up on that. If you like, I can go ahead and pay the bills.
Pay them.
Yeah, let's get it out of the way. Folks, the show's brought to you by, more or less, by GhostBed. Failure to Stop and Fox News and all that, and all our kind of parent networks, they're all supported by GhostBed. If you're one of these people that sleeps, which I no longer am included in that based off of last night's anti-sleep behavior, you're going to want to go over to ghostbed.com, use the offer code Wolfpack. Let GhostBed know that you are a supporter of everything that's going on with the greater Tansy network of podcasts. That's what pays us. And so if you're anti-slavery and it's an either-or situation, you will go over to ghostbed.com, spend a little money there, use that offer code. You can save a little money as well, of course, and a little bit of money will come back this way for this podcast. Of course, you can find great products there. Cooling technologies, pillows that support your little head. It's all sustainably made out of human souls who have passed on to the afterlife. They support veterans, first responders like Kiefer, helping him sleep all the night long there in the little fire station. So we appreciate GhostBed for always supporting us from the very beginning. And you can try out their products for not just 99 nights, which is a lot of nights, not 100, but 101. And if you're still not happy, GhostBed's like, we'll send it back. We'll figure you out. We'll, get you a refund or get you a different GhostBed. We'll make sure you're comfortable. You're going to spend a third of your night of sleep. You might as well do it correctly. So get GhostBed to help you have a good night's sleep. The show is also brought to you by ShieldBox. ShieldBox is a company that will send you a box of stuff for policeman officers. That's right. Are you a cop? Are you someone pretending to be? Well, either way, ShieldBox doesn't care. They're going to send you a box full of stuff. You can set up with an account, choose your box. They're going to send you great stuff every month from great brands like Gerber, 511, and other tactical gear companies. They're going to send you stuff. And kind of the cool thing about it is that you get to try stuff out this way. You get to see like, oh, does this help me fight crime better? Does this fit on my duty belt? Does this fit on my vest? Is this cool shit? Is this stuff that's going to help me? Is it going to save my life? I don't know, maybe, but go over to Shield Box. If you're in security, law enforcement, if you're a federal officer, whatever, you're going to find cool stuff over there. We appreciate them supporting us. So go over to theshieldbox.com for all your law enforcement and tactical gear. We appreciate them. And also just thank you to all of you this Thanksgiving. We appreciate you for supporting the show as always. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not thank Old Growth Lumber. That's right. Trees that have grown for a long, long time. Untouched by man. With a dense cellulose fibrous wood that can be made into the best furniture on earth. Think Old Growth Lumber. I know a lot of you think, well, I can't get to Old Growth Lumber thanks to the EPA. Well, if you sneak out there at night with a chainsaw, I don't know who's supposed to stop you. So Old Growth Lumber for the finest in furniture and other things. So trees give us oxygen. This is typical propaganda from the left here. It's not even true. Oxygen comes from the ocean mostly. That's right. Britt and Teresa, whoever else may be listening. But the plankton in the ocean are little animals, little plants, little plant animal things, and they give us way, way more oxygen than even the most densest forests on Earth. So go nuts. Cut down all the old growth lumber. Cut down the new growth lumber. Cut down random trees in your neighborhood. Do whatever you want to do. None of it matters because the oxygen will be coming from the sea. This is a reminder that podcasts are not a suitable substitute for actual human interaction. So if you're looking to me for like a plan for living, maybe look elsewhere. That would be a good idea. Oh, Keith, it's a big weekend of Thanksgiving games. What are you most looking forward to? I know that Cowboys always play on Thanksgiving, but of course you've also got Ohio State and Michigan playing on Saturday. It's kind of a big weekend for football, and of course there are no other sports that matter. I know that Ernest Hemingway said that mountain climbing and bullfighting were sports, but Ernest Hemingway is dead. That's what he knows.
So huge weekend for me at least. I mean, obviously I'm happy for Thanksgiving. I love Thanksgiving, but this weekend, you mentioned it, mine and my brother's Super Bowl. Ohio State, Michigan, but then followed up and tentatively as it sits right now, I'm off work Saturday and Sunday. And then the Bengals take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is another big rivalry. So huge football packed weekend, but the Thanksgiving games are always fun to watch and, look forward to those, but I'm more in it for the Ohio State, Michigan and Bengals Steelers.
Boy, there's just so much going on for you this weekend.
There is.
Historically, the Cowboys have played Thanksgiving since like 1963 or something. The reason for that is that nobody wanted to play on Thanksgiving. Back then, people's lives were about family and turkey. They weren't about millions and millions of dollars. So the Cowboys said, hey, we'll play on Thanksgiving and we'll get a nationally televised game. We don't have to compete with anyone. We don't have to compete with the Packers or the Giants or the Bears or the other teams that were really big at that time, and we'll have a national audience. And they were a relatively new team back then, so they said, we'll do it. Of course, Detroit, I think they were forced at gunpoint to play on every Thanksgiving, so that's how that came about. Probably that sounds like a very Detroit thing to happen. And of course, I think we're lucky because Detroit is kind of the premier team in the NFC. I think it's going to be a good Thanksgiving for Detroit fans. They're going to watch them go out and maul their division rivals, the Bears. I always love the Thanksgiving game. Cowboys usually wear throwback uniforms. They have traditions like throwing players inside the Salvation Army kettles and things like that, which could then get turned into memes of them being thrown into trash cans. But
can I go on a rant real quick?
Yeah.
I mean, just a small rant. But, you got the Lions and the Bears. So I'm in 2 fantasy football leagues. One I paid to get into and one is free. The one that's free, I'm doing very, very well in. The one I paid for, complete and utter dumpster fire shitbag. Well, I have Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams last week, 30 fucking points. Kyler Murray, 12 or 10. But every time I play Caleb Williams, it's apparently an off week. He's every other week guy. But I didn't think it was really a trend, but it's a fucking trend. And I'm really, really pissed off about it. Sorry. Rant's over.
I used to play fantasy football, perhaps as you know, but I kept looking for the tab or the option to make Jerry Jones not the manager of the Cowboys because that's my fantasy, and I couldn't find it. Not on ESPN or NFL.com or even Yahoo's fantasy football. Couldn't find it. There's no tab or anything, and I would spend hours in the chats.
Direct me to this place.
Direct me to where's the switch to turn off Jerry Jones from the Cowboys, because that's how I want it to be in my fantasies.
And it's fucking frustrating. He comes out of the draft. He's going to be the savior of the Chicago Bears, which that typically rarely ever happens.
No, they can't be saved.
Well, especially for the Bears, but it worked with Joe Burrow to a point, but then he kind of plateaued out, got hurt, because he was getting killed because of his offensive line. But fucking Caleb Williams, I hope he has a really, really shitty Thanksgiving because he's made my fantasy team garbage. And it's all his fault, not mine.
Strong stance that you want a man to not even enjoy a holiday because he's damaging a small aspect of your life that's not even real. However, I support it.
You're goddamn right.
I think I'm honor bound as your co-podcaster to get on board with at least one insane thing that you say during the show. And God knows it's been insane on this side of the screen and you've never forsaken me. So I'm going to go ahead and say, Caleb Williams, God damn you, sir. You've ruined this man's entire year. I hope you also have a bad day. Kiva, any Thanksgiving traditions other than football?
Well, with my mom passing last year, like everything's kind of changed, but we typically go over to Jill's aunt's, spend time with her family, which is always a good time. We have a lot of fun with her cousins and everything, so I'm looking forward to that. But it's a fairly low key. We go one place and just eat and drink and have fun, and that's it. So it's very, very simplistic, which I like. Versus like in years past, where you're traveling to multiple different places, having a split family. Go to my mom's, my mom's side, when I was younger, my mom's side for like the afternoon and my dad's side in the evening. And then it's just, it's like the, my old Christmas traditions. It was more work than it was enjoyable. So now it's very toned down, which I like.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's never the same after the person who hosted it when you were young passes away. I remember after my grandma died, it wasn't really the same thing after that. But you try to build up new traditions and you try to take the stuff that you like and you try to kind of pass it on for the next generation. Any recipes or anything like that you really like? Are you a real cranberry man? Do you like yams? I mean, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie?
No, I would rather eat a hot turd than a sweet potato, to be honest with you. But I like the canned cranberry sauce. The one that just comes out.
That doesn't surprise me at all. You want to eat the dog food equivalent of cranberry sauce.
Yes.
Gosh.
I told you I'm simple, man.
That's all right. You're allowed to be you, and I have to support you, apparently. That's the conditions of this podcast. So
and then a lot of that. And then you're good.
A lot of beer. Let's talk about the Cowboys. We're going to play against
speaking of beer.
Yeah. We're going to play against the Giants, which is a big rivalry. But Cowboys came back against the Redskins this past Sunday, and it was rather insane because I was driving to work with this on. This is just kind of how it goes with games that start the first slot of games at 1 p.m. is that I'm driving to work while they're ending. And so, I'm just updating it on Google, what the score is. And I'm just like, well, we're probably going to win this game. And then I'm like, we're going to lose it, because we need the Cowboys to get a first down, which they just can't do. But then just a comedy of errors on special teams. You see
oh, my God.
Running it back here for 99 yards to Kevontae Turpin, the fastest man in the NFL, runs it back for a touchdown, which is great for him. We also captured an onside kick. It did the same thing, and the Redskins missed a point after, which gave us the edge. But this game just got drunk real quick. You had no idea what the hell you thought was going to happen. And it was rather exciting for me because, of course, historically, the Redskins are sort of our major rival, but they really haven't been our major rival for a long time, which is kind of sad. In fact, you don't even hear the phrase the Cowboys and the Redskins anymore, thanks to the United States government patent office, which, by the way, I've been seeing a lot of people posting lately, like it's high past time to bring back the Redskins. Like they think that it's like a decision on by NFL people.
Right.
And it's like, first of all, I covered this, so I don't know why there's still ignorance left in the world, but it's like the reason why the Redskins aren't the Redskins anymore isn't because of woke. It's not even because of FedEx, because I think they renamed their stadium. I don't think it's FedEx Field anymore. It's because the United States Patent Office said we don't have to grant copyright status to anything that we deem offensive. It's literally up to the U.S. government to decide what's offensive. And so they said, yeah, we're not going to grant you any patents on these anymore. So good luck making money on any of your merchandise or the name of your team. And so people are calling for it to come back.
18 different petitions. Sign this petition to bring the Redskins name back.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem is that the problem is that the NFL and the Redskins organization is a money making organization. So as long as they're trying to do that, they have to have a team name and they have to have a logo, even if it's their weird little folded W thing. That they will try to be making money off of that. So I don't know. Maybe once Donald Trump is in the once he's back in the White House and he's in charge of the United States Patent Office, he can tell them, hey, give the Redskins their shit back. Then it would come back, but then it would only come back for 4 years. So I'm guessing that they wouldn't do it again. So
yeah, that's a lot of rebranding for just 4 years.
It's a lot of rebranding. But anyway, so it was amazing to see their comeback. But the truth is that the Cowboys failed at losing. This was really at the point of the year where
I was really almost going to text you and be like, "Oh my God, John, I'm so happy for you." But I knew it. I knew something like that would come across.
It did feel good, but it's like it's fake, right? Because you're like, man, we were headed to the top 5 of the draft. We were really, we're going to be able to draft well. We're going to be able to make a real difference. The past couple of years we've been going 12-5, and we have been very low drafting. But this year we're going to be able to take a top draft pick. But it looks like, we're going to be headed back towards the middle of the pack, which, don't get me wrong, we still have plenty of opportunities to lose. But I think we're going to beat the Giants later this week, and then we're going to beat the Panthers again. And then, I felt like, well, we beat the Redskins, like we couldn't beat the Redskins, but we beat them this time, so we might beat them again. So it's like, yeah, we could be heading really towards the middle of the pack. Probably the worst thing that could happen in all of this mess is that, Mike McCarthy could be given in an extension. And that's really what we're going to talk about here, unfortunately, with Mike McCarthy, because he could be coming back. I forgot to talk about Tyreek Hill. We'll be going over that in a minute. But this is from Yahoo Sports, pinnacle of sports reporting. Mike McCarthy getting a contract extension? I don't think that's crazy at all, says Jerry Jones, because, of course, Jerry Jones thinks that you should be able to fail for 27 fucking years and not get fired. Well, fired people before, but now he's like reflecting on himself. And he had said recently, people have, haven't pulled the rope on me yet. And I'm just like, well, no one can pull the rope on you. We all want to. He also thinks, every time someone says to me, I think you're losing the locker room, he thinks it's a coaching thing, like because the players don't respect Mike McCarthy because he won't be back next year. So just like how we have to sign Dak Prescott and we have to sign CeeDee Lamb and bring in Jonathan Filet Mignon or whatever his name was, we have to make these deals now to win now. And it's just like, if you play the money, the Cowboys have less than a 1% chance of even making the playoffs. So we have a less than a 1% chance of getting to the point where we usually fail. So why are we going to make any terrible decisions? To be honest with you, I'm kind of hoping that we are not in a position where Mike McCarthy will get a contract extension. That would make me sad. Continuing to read, though, Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones said Tuesday that it's not crazy to think head coach Mike McCarthy could wind up with a contract extension after the season. I don't think that's crazy at all, he said on Tuesday to 105.3, The Fan.
In
That's
his best Mr. Burns voice from The Simpsons.
it's kind of like well, they also have like the rich Texas oil tycoon on The Simpsons. He's a lot.
Yeah.
This is a Super Bowl winning coach. Yeah, he won it with Aaron Rodgers. Mike McCarthy has been there and done that. He's got great ideas. Like running it on 2nd and 20 from your own 15-yard line. So the bottom line is no place in my body language or anyone else. Have you seen any indications they're going to be doing relative to the staff at the end of the year? And we shouldn't. Jerry, do you want anyone to watch this team at all next year? Like, I think tickets for this game on Thursday, like you can get tickets to this game for $25.
I think they're giving them to you.
Yeah,
They're coming. They're coming in an envelope with a star on it. Here,
well, there's quite a few people who, they leave the last game and they come out and they think that there's a parking ticket on their windshield, but it's just tickets to next week's game. Someone left them under their wipers. That's the situation in Dallas.
You get a hot dog and a soda.
A hot dog and a soda and tickets to the rest of the games. No.
I just want the hot dog.
Just give me the hot dog. I'll take the cancer from that. Under McCarthy, the Cowboys have won 2 division titles and made 3 straight playoff appearances since he was hired in 2020. This season, however, has been one to forget, if only we could. Dak Prescott is out injured until 2025. The running game has been abysmal, 31st. And they're 0-5 at home with the New York Giants coming to town on Thanksgiving Day. This is our first opportunity to really to break that streak of not winning at home and finally win a home game this year. And if it comes at the expense of the Giants, I'll be happy about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. With Mike McCarthy in the final year of his contract, there's speculation he would not return, especially when there's a possible replacement of Colorado head coach and former Cowboy Deion Sanders out there, which I think would be not a good decision, but what would be?
Do you think that would really happen though? Because that's obviously gaining a lot of traction just in the media. Do you honestly?
Well, the story, they like the story of it. Deion Sanders, former player, coming in.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't foresee him leaving Colorado.
I don't think it's a good idea, to be honest with you, because I think he has a good thing going there. And so often, college coaches have a hard time transitioning to the NFL.
His record's not showing it, and his son is definitely not giving a good morality image of it.
Well,
or he shoved a referee.
Well, I mean, Deion Sanders had kind of a reputation back in the day too as kind of a bad boy, but I'm not saying any of that is okay. But I mean, even going from Jackson State, which was a small college, to Colorado, like the transition hasn't been easy, right? Like success isn't automatic when you go up to the next level. So I think it's good for so often in sports, it's like, what is the story,
Right. And that's where I'm at. Yeah, they're reporting on it just because it's going to get clicks, it's going to get reads. But I mean,
so it's Bill Belichick, though. So you'll see that.
Exactly.
Bill Belichick coming to the Cowboys, they think will also happen. Anyway, Jones might be looking at the circumstances of how the Cowboys have won only 4 of their first 11 games, may not be so eager to pull the plug on McCarthy. He said earlier this month he's regretted letting coaches go. Shane Gailey, not a great coach, and Wade Phillips, a better coach, and not giving them more time to succeed. This would explain his comments about McCarthy's football future and the fact that he's optimistic about the final 6 games. I don't know. He's optimistic. Giants, Bengals, Panthers, Bucks, Eagles, Redskins again on the schedule. We're going to get toasted for quite a few of those. We got football left to play, he said. So what does that mean? Like we might have a 500 season? That's not worth saving McCarthy for. The Cowboys snapped a 5-game losing streak by getting lucky on special teams plays. I mean, their defense did hold back the Redskins, and the Redskins are on a downward slide. But it was the special teams that kept them dominant in that game. But they are 3 games behind the Commanders for the 7th and final playoff spot in the NFC. But 6 teams are ahead of them in the race. So not very likely, if you ask me. And frankly, I don't want them to be in the playoffs. I want to not be worried about them in the playoffs, which I know is kind of a terrible thing to say, but I want it to be done. I want them to win on Thanksgiving, and I want to think about other things. I don't want to keep focusing on all all this negativity. You know what I mean?
I want some positivity in your life.
I want some positivity. I want the season to end. This was a case that we covered earlier in this year. It was week 1. We also covered it on failure to stop. But maybe you guys remember that Tyreek Hill was on the way to the game in Miami when he got pulled over for speeding in his weird Lamborghini thing, driving at a high rate of speed, doing his best race impression. Got pulled over by Miami police. The situation got a little tense. He got put on the ground at one point. He used his platform to call for that police officer to be suspended or fired. Well, the case against Tyreek Hill has been dismissed. So, a sad day for all of law enforcement, and a sad day for, I don't know, rich people having to live a life where they're held to account for anything. I mean, not that it would even bother him paying a fine or having a black mark on his driving record, because it won't fucking affect him. But like, if I went to court, like, you bet your ass the cops would show up, and it wouldn't work out for me. I think we know why the police didn't show up. It's because they didn't want the media spectacle. They didn't want to go through with it. They just, they wanted it to go away. This from Miami Gardens, Florida. This is courtesy of ESPN. And when I say courtesy, I mean I'm reading from it without their express permission. But you know what? This is First Amendment, and we're commenting on your reporting, so it's kind of fair use exception. 2 traffic citations issued to Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill in September were dismissed when the responding officers failed to appear at court hearing on Monday. Hill was pulled over by Miami-Dade police officer Manuel Batista outside of the Hard Rock Stadium hours before the Dolphins' regular season opener on September 8 for allegedly speeding, and was cited for careless driving and failure to wear a seatbelt. The incident went viral when Miami-Dade police officer Danny Torres was seen dragging Hill out of his vehicle and forcibly placing him in handcuffs. Big fucking deal. Torres's behavior was captured on the officer's body cameras, and he was quickly placed on administrative duties. An internal affairs investigation was launched, but no results have been released. Attorneys Devin Jacobs, Stephen Kelly, Jeffrey Neiman, and Julius Collins, 4 attorneys for a speeding ticket, released a statement on Hill's behalf following the dismissal of his citations. As anticipated, the traffic citations against Tyreek Hill were dismissed. Police officers should not issue citations unless they are willing to testify in court under oath with respect to same, they said in the statement. Officer Torres and Batista's absence from court today evidences their knowledge of wrongdoing. I wouldn't say that. Maybe they were busy. Maybe they overslept. These officers should be disciplined for their failure to appear. Mr. Hill was entitled to have his day in court, and the officers failed to appear. Well, he had his day at court, and he had a de facto winning. Does Tyreek Hill not understand the idea of a forfeit? Because that's exactly what the police did. Maybe the police didn't want to go out there and be roasted for 4 attorneys on a fucking speeding citation. You're in traffic court, and you're going in there with more attorneys than O.J. Simpson had? Are you kidding me?
There's going to be more people that are in a courtroom.
Period. And that was exactly your tactics to begin with. That's why Tyreek Hill hired 4 attorneys to intimidate the police from showing up.
Let me ask you this. Is it, because there's multiple angles to this, but you brought it up just a couple minutes ago, the cops not wanting the media attention. The other option is their admin not wanting the media attention and just said, don't go.
I think it's both.
Or, because reading in that article, they had something else going on, duty related.
I think that's possible. Now, the world doesn't really actually revolve around Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, these guys' names have already been,
this is
pulled through the media since this happened.
We're talking about it today again for the first time in 13 weeks. Yeah. And after today, it's going to go away. It's going to be over. Tyreek Hill's going to get what he wants, except for an opportunity to lambaste these officers and question them in open court for the media to see. And, these attorneys are going to go up and question them about, like, well, now you were disciplined for this incident, weren't you? What exactly were your sanctions, Officer Torres, for pulling over Tyreek Hill and all this? And we knew that just because of that, the sanctions that those officers faced for their actions, that the ticket was going to be dismissed. Not only that, but having 4 fucking attorneys for a speeding ticket.
And given the video, of them pulling him out, he was a complete and utter asshole to the cops. Yep. Now the cops in turn turn their attitudes up. Two wrongs don't make a right, and I get that. But had he just fucking, because he didn't physically get arrested that day.
No, they let him go play the game, and then he was released. He was mocking the police in his touchdown celebrations. Yes. Yeah.
So pay your fucking ticket, call it a day, because you were wrong. They had evidence that he was speeding. That's why they fucking pulled him over. Seatbelt, the seatbelt ones are always kind of sketchy with me. But
yeah, seatbelts have killed more people than they saved, Keith, and I'm sure as a firefighter you'll back that up.
Yep. But how do you know? And I do agree with that. I'm kidding.
I was gonna say, like, wow.
Fucking kidding. But I just don't understand. Pay your ticket, and it would have been gone. But where I'm fired up about it is the fact that fire that cop or fire those cops. I can't remember if he wanted all of them fired or just the one, but wanted him fired. Went on a PR excursion, just blasting this guy who is is making, I don't know what a Miami cop makes, but
after 27 years of Miami cops not pulling down 100K, I can tell you that.
Right. It's very minimal compared to you, motherfucker. Just pay the fine. You were wrong and be done with it. But instead, he wanted to talk about it in his press conference after the game, mock it during the game, and then hire 4 attorneys, whatever. So, I mean, I think it's the admin just saying, hey, just let it go.
I agree. And I think it's, as sad as it is to see him not, be held to account for his fucking speeding. The truth is that we would, and I say we, I mean like decent people and people who are pro-police and the police, we would have lost because it would have just been another opportunity for them to dig up this incident, to remind everyone that how bad Miami PD looked that day. And as I said, they wanted to get those officers on the stand to cross-examine them and just torch them about what happened on the incident and use the opportunity of court as a stage, as a drama, to make the police look bad again. And the police kind of played 4D chess and said, it's just a traffic ticket. It's no big deal to us, Tyreek Hill.
Right.
And let them walk on it. So, but then they, the fact that the lawyers still go out there to the press asking about this, why are the press asking about the disposition of a speeding case? And they're all just like, these officers should be disciplined for missing court. Like, they're not going to be disciplined for missing court. They were playing 4D chess. They knew not to show up. They knew they didn't want to be answering your questions on the stand. It's a misdemeanor. And not only that, but like these police officers probably have better things to do than fighting you in court and going through all this hell and being on TV again and being on ESPN for this bullshit thing that they probably wish hadn't happened either. And I just feel bad because I feel like Officer Torres and Batista, they were a little rough or whatever, but also Tyreek Hill was not being cooperative and he wasn't rolling down the window and he was like, just give me my ticket. He was being a total bastard. And so in a sense, I don't think that they were entirely unjustified. I think it was just, it looked bad, but police action rarely looks good. And I think that they took the high road is what the police did. And it's always hard to take the high road. Like, we all hate taking the high road. Keith, you're never the bigger person in any situation. Never. It's rough. Never. We hate doing that. But it was probably the better thing to do. It is our belief that Officer Torres and Batista failed to appear in court so that they could not be questioned under oath. Hill said in a Tuesday post on X, where are all the internet cops now? See, that's what I hate is that
he's talking shit. He's still
talking shit, but he would have talked shit if he went to court too. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Miami-Dade police said that the officer's failure to appear was an oversight, that the matter will be handled administratively. Still, the department defended issuing Hill the tickets. They should have just said, like, sorry, we don't think about Tyreek Hill. You're not that important. You're actually not a badass compared to the shit that we have to do here every day. You ever watch Miami Vice? A citation dismissed due to this reason does not indicate that the citation held no merit, the agency said in a statement. That's true. Hill previously admitted that he didn't handle the situation as well as he could have. While he initially complied with Batista's command to roll his window down, he rolled his window back up after Batista had issued him a ticket and let him move on with his day. Hill said he harbored no ill will towards the police. Right. but he did call for Torres's dismissal back in September. So
You're calling
because
for a family
because
does not
you,
have income.
I'm still mad because you were speeding to the game and you were being a fucking dick, and this guy said like, not today, no way, Jose. You know, if I may pull that one out. He deserves to be fired and have his whole family and his whole career ruined because you were being a dick and he was being a dick back. Nothing bad is going to happen to you. When you have a bad play, we said this back in week 1. When you have a bad play, what happens to you? So what? So you committed some offensive pass interference, 15-yard penalty, replay the down, or 15-yard penalty, first down. That's it. That's all that happens to you.
Right.
You know, he plays on offense, so he's very only in the event of a turnover would he have to actually like tackle someone that might be leading with the crown of his helmet or something. So it's very hard for Tyreek Hill to even pick up penalties. You almost never see a penalty on a wide receiver.
Well, and here's the thing: if he doesn't make a team meeting, he's fined, between $2,000 and $5,000.
Yeah, he's not humiliated, you know.
So he could have just went to court, paid the ticket for the $150 or whatever it may have been. I have no idea. And the seatbelt. And he probably could have got that out of the ashtray of that Lamborghini. Here. Whoosh, done. Move on with your fucking life. But instead.
Yeah, but it really is about the police, unfortunately. I mean, it's about trying to make them look bad. And
right.
him trying to make himself into some sort of NFL's answer to George Floyd type figure, you know.
Well, he's trying to say that he cleaned his act up and whatever. He's just another fucking thug. That's all he is.
He is a thug. Thank you for saying that. That's exactly who he is.
In that article, he says, I'm trying to be a pro's pro, and I'm a better father now. But when I was younger, fuck you.
This was 78 days ago. You have not changed as a person in 78 days.
Right? Did you go to some fucking retreat?
Even then, you're not going to change in 78 days.
Trip? Ooh, I said ayahuasca again.
Yeah, guys, take a shot whenever he mentions ayahuasca. Anyway, during the incident, other teammates were involved, and Hill's been at the center of other numerous off-field incidents since joining the Dolphins, including a physical altercation with Hollover Marina employee in June of 2023. That a lawsuit alleges he broke a social media influencer's leg this year. Jesus, that's way worse than what the cops did to you. He broke somebody's leg? Dolphins head coach and future serial killer Mike McDaniel said Hill is a different human being than when they first met. And Hill said he believes that he has grown over the past few years. This happened at the right time in my life because of the way I've matured. The way I've been handling myself with my kids, stepping up as a father and all that. The older I've been getting,
I've matured. I'm letting my kids play Xbox.
Man, I'm realizing how important it is for me to be a pro's pro. God, it's so disgusting. So that's the maturity future serial killer Mike McDaniel was talking about when the teammates see me now. I'm with my wife, my kids. I'm enjoying life, man. I'm slowing my life down.
Are you?
Do you remember the case that we covered of that guy who was being an asshole in Arizona, where he was like he threatened somebody in the drive-thru of a Wendy's or whatever? It was like a former Baltimore Ravens player.
Yes,
that's Tyreek Hill. That'll be him in a couple of years once he gets cut. He's going to be in Glendale, Arizona. He's going to be at a White Castle, and he's going to pull a gun on somebody. This is what Tyreek Hill is going to be doing at some point. So I don't know, just embarrassing. Even the BBC was talking about it. You hate to see that we didn't get our day in court either, because it's just sad because
the news outlet.
Yes, the British Broadcasting Company. But I would have liked a day in court where we could have said, you know what, we're going to add charges to Tyreek Hill, and this is what kind of dick he is. And I wonder, can you get a fair jury? They're probably all Dolphins fans, and none of them are going to do anything.
We're going to add charges of things we haven't caught him for yet.
Yeah.
Just hold a tag for him.
Try to get a change of venue up to Foxborough, get some Patriots fans on the jury, then it might be fair. Aaron Rodgers doing Aaron Rodgers things, kind of out there causing all kinds of controversy. This is because he's not winning. This is all like, well, where is Aaron Rodgers going to be next year? Is he going to be retired? Is he going to play for the Titans? Is he going to play for some other team? Is he going to play for the Vikings? This is part of his master plan. I don't think a lot of people want Aaron Rodgers. I think somehow you destroyed the New York Jets. As I said last week, that's a feat to destroy the Jets. Right. It's like I said last week it's like letting poop spoil somehow that you ruined a bad situation. That you took the pre-Aaron Rodgers Jets, and now they're looking back on that as the good days. Somehow you did that. You entirely recontextualized the history of failure of the New York Jets into something that was much more palatable. Aaron Rodgers undecided on next season. Says Jets would be my first option if he returns to football. You know why he says that? Because he has a key to the place. I'm not sure that he thinks you could get that anywhere else. He might wind up with the New York Giants for some reason. I could see that happening somehow too. Which, by the way, I had a meme I forgot to download. Something about how the New York Giants, with Tommy DeVito being questionable, the New York Giants may be looking at the free agency market for a bridge quarterback to see them through the end of the season, and so they might pick up recently released or new free agent Daniel Jones as a way to get them to the end of the season. By the way, him cutting bait, made sense because they were just going to rest him the rest of the year. What with the way his contract was structured, with him getting a big payday if he was injured, they'd have to pay way more if they retained him, and if he got injured, he was going to get paid a lot more money. So it just made sense.
Like $23 million.
$23 million, because I'd be going out there and trying to roll an ankle if that's the situation I was in. So
I would look like a baby deer after the snap, just to do it, and then you'd hear a snap.
Yep, and they would do one of these things where you kind of like, don't protect yourself.
Yeah.
You kind of
For
like
$23 million, you could cut my leg off. I don't care.
Honestly, for us regular people, being seriously injured for $23 million, you think people haven't done that? They're cutting off toes to put in Wendy's chili. I mean, if you think it would happen for $23 million guaranteed, you don't even have to go to court or anything. You're just like, yeah, here's the film of me getting killed for your team. But this from National Broadcasting Company: New York Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers, Tuesday, he would prefer to remain with the team if he plays next season. Rodgers, 40, did not comment on returning to play in 2025, but he said the Jets would be his top choice if he decides to do so. The Jets did not say whether or not Aaron Rodgers would be their top choice if he decides to come back.
He was on a 1 year, right? Correct?
He was on a 2-year deal, but his first year he was on the bench, so his contract's up.
So it's up. Okay. All right. That's, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. As far as my future goes, I haven't told anybody in my life that I want to play in 2025 and not on the Jets.
There is nobody in your life.
You are quick to dog him. I love that about you. Rodgers said on ESPN the Pat McAfee show, addressing rumors he would like to play elsewhere. He then added, "I'm not jumping off ship. I don't even know if I want to play yet, but the New York would be my first option." Rodgers' future, both in the NFL and with the Jets, has been called into question amid his own and the team's struggles so far this season. The 3-time MVP is averaging the fewest yards per attempt of his career, the worst passer rating since he became a full-time starter. The Jets are 3-8, almost as bad as the Cowboys, having lost 7 of their last 8 games. On November 23, The Athletic's Diana Rossini reported her understanding was that Rodgers wanted to play again next season, but not with New York. Rodgers said his decision would be based on part by who is coaching the team and leading the front office. Thanks to him, everything's been fucked up in New York, so we have no idea who to expect.
They're fire sailing.
Yeah, the Jets fired Robert Saleh and then fired general manager Joe Douglas. New York traded for Rodgers before the 2023 season, but his tenure's been marked by disappointment. He only played 4 snaps the last season before tearing his Achilles, causing them to miss the rest of the year. Then in June, Rodgers was fined for unexcused absence as he was touring the pyramids of Egypt, something that was very important to him, as I recall, as he skipped a mandatory practice for a planned trip. And through 11 games this season, the Jets are in 12th place in the AFC. There's only 16 teams in the AFC, guys. And they could very well wind up as the 16th place. They owe him $23.5 million for next season. If the Jets were to cut or trade Rodgers after the season, it would cost them $25.5 million against the salary cap. If the quarterback is cut or traded after June 1, New York would gain $9.5 million in cap space. The Jets next play Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, in which they will lose the game handily. They will lose handily. So Aaron Rodgers, honestly, there's a meme the other day that said, that one shot of him when they were leaving against after that game they lost against the Lions, which was sort of like the the blood in the water, the thing that finally made the Lions feisty was defeating Aaron Rodgers the last game of the season. Him walking down the tunnel with Randall Cobb, that should have been the last moment of him playing football. Going out kind of as a defeated hero, but with some class, instead of all this shit that he's been doing in New York. What is it with like the greats really never knowing when to go away? Because like Brett Favre did the same thing, and Brett Favre had a second wind in him. You know, he came back and took the Vikings, I think, to at least the divisional round of the playoffs before the Saints destroyed him in Bountygate. But you know, they never know when to walk away. Joe Namath played for the Rams, and Carson Palmer played for the Cardinals and took them to the NFC Championship game.
You would say that.
Sorry. You're like, don't mention Carson Palmer as a great.
Well, it's the irony, though, just because it's been in the news that they're saying that the Bengals fans were right about Carson Palmer, like him wanting to leave. And they're saying that's exactly what's going to happen with Joe Burrow. Like, he's going to be like, get me out of here. I'm done.
That's what happened. It's happening for Joe Mixon, I guess. I don't know how he was last week, but
he's been killing it. That's the typical Bengals curse. You leave the Bengals and you do very, very well.
Doesn't sound like a curse.
Well, it's a curse for us. We have great players that don't excel, and then Corey Dillon leaves the Bengals and then goes win a Super Bowl with the Patriots the next fucking year. So
you kind of holding that one against him, I think.
I'm happy for him.
Well, I'm glad you're happy. That's nice. Let's talk maybe some moves with injuries. Brandon Graham is out for the year with a torn tricep. That's one more worse than a bicep. Darius Slay exits with a concussion. Gardner Minshew is going to miss the rest of the season with a broken collarbone. That's too bad because the Raiders play on Friday.
Who's their backup? Do you know?
Probably Desmond Ridder. Or no, he's gone, isn't he? He got cut. So Aiden O'Connell, I guess? No, he's been on IR. Who is going to play?
I'm pulling it up. Let's see.
As far as other potential options, quarterback Carter Bradley is on the Raiders practice squad.
Desmond Ritter's still listed as active.
Oh, Desmond Ritter's. I thought Ridder got cut.
I thought he did too.
I thought he was playing nowheres.
That's our best guess as we have.
We have no idea. They could also sign Daniel Jones. There was also some talk that the Cowboys could pick up Daniel Jones just to do something ironic and funny, to put him out there on the field.
I'd rather have him than Trey Lance right now.
I don't know. To me, it's a toss-up because I really hate Daniel Jones but it's so hard to know, right? Like Saquon Barkley was doing nothing for years in New York, and now he's with the Eagles, and he's like a Terminator out there,
How much are the Giants going, son of a bitch? How did we miss that one?
How much of the Giants, how much were they destroying or holding back Daniel Jones? Is it possible that he could see a resurgence to his career if he's just not playing for the Maras? I don't know. That said, I don't like his face. He looks sad.
I don't like.
And I know the Giants like picking quarterbacks that look sad. Like Eli Manning always kind of looks sad. I've got some great memes of him looking sad. My whole phone's filled with like Eli Manning looks sad photos, but I don't know. I there's no reason to do that, and Jerry Jones is not going to do that, even if it would be funny. Commanders kicker Austin Siebert placed an injured reserve. He was beaten up after the game after missing that extra point. Wasn't his fault, but he has sustained a serious injury after a locker room incident. I'm just kidding. I don't know how he got injured, but
it was a shower slip.
He slipped in the shower. Yeah, he fell onto a sack full of batteries.
It's the strangest thing.
How did that happen? You don't see D-cells a lot anymore. Zane Gonzalez with the practice squad of Sunday's game against the Tennessee Titans. They'll bring him back. Siebert missed 2 extra points during their loss to the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. Prior to that, he'd been perfect on extra points. You always hate it when you see him missing extra points because it's like, this is going to destroy his career. Shit happens. Vikings signed linebacker, former Redskins first-round pick, Jamin Davis. I barely know who that is. Good for him. Giants are placing pass rusher Azeez Ojulari on injured reserve. I also saw that Tommy DeVito not 100% to play on Thanksgiving versus the Cowboys, so we don't even know if we're going to see Tommy DeVito. We might see Drew Lock. Of course,
His
I
agent
saw something that said that Cowboys is Cooper Rush, the number 2 quarterback, that he may not be ready to go. So we could be seeing Trey Lance versus Drew Lock. Man, try to stay awake for that one with tryptophan, man. I don't know. See, the thing is, I'm trying to tell myself, like, well, both teams are going to suck. So, like, it will equal out to a decent, watchable game, right? Watch, you'll be like, it's going to be 3-3 at halftime. You're just going to see lots of punting and stuff. Which, I like punters. I'm going to, like, remind myself, like, how important special teams are to me on Thursday. No, I like special teams. Oh, look at that sweet long snap.
That thing was on a seed.
Oh, yeah. Man, that guy could put a loaf of bread into a mailbox at 10 yards. Good for him. New York Giants quarterback Tommy DeVito is dealing with a forearm soreness on his throwing arm.
Because he's not used to throwing.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not used to this motion here. That has happened recently. This according to head coach Brian Dable, who himself is probably looking for a new job, who told reporters while rolling a joint on Tuesday that he's hopeful that DeVito will be able to play. But he's not 100% that he will. Backup Drew Lock will get reps at practice with Giant starters on Tuesday. Bucs safety Jordan Whitehead will be sidelined with a pec injury. That has to hurt. My pec's kind of hurt because I was lifting heavy the other day. It's not a good feeling.
It's not a good feeling.
No, and when you touch them to see how you're doing, people looking at you. Like, what are you doing? Why are you filling yourself up, John? An exciting roster move could be the return of Shaq Barrett. He was a linebacker that played for, I think, the Bucs. Looks like retirement may not have been the best fit for Shaq Barrett, the former linebacker who hung up his cleats at the end of last season. Has reportedly applied for reinstatement. He wants back in the NFL. Yeah, he wants to come back at a time where he could be signed instantly to a team that has serious Super Bowl prospects. Former Pro Bowl pass rusher Shaq Barrett has applied for reinstatement after announcing his retirement. He's under contract with the Dolphins. Oh, I forgot that's so. If he's under contract with the Dolphins, is he hoping to get traded?
Who knows?
Because he doesn't want to come back and finish. He doesn't want to come back and play cold. I mean, I know it's never cold in Miami, but like I assume they have to go play at Foxborough again. You're going to want to go back and do that rather than unretired next year, maybe, and see if you can get traded somewhere.
God, that would be miserable.
I just don't. I don't see the strategy. Like maybe I mean, and maybe the Dolphins will, maybe the Dolphins will do him a good deal. Like, yeah, come back, we'll trade you, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm sure that the Dolphins would love to have some trade capital. If he comes back, then all of a sudden they have a chip to play with, so I guess it would work in the Dolphins' favor. Aiden O'Donnell returns to Raiders practice. That's who we mentioned. Jets not planning to shut down Aaron Rodgers yet, despite injuries. He will start versus the Seahawks. Aaron Rodgers, at least for now, is still the starting quarterback in New York. Despite his struggles and ayahuasca use, he will absolutely be a starting quarterback versus the Seahawks. Who else would come in and replace him? I'm not sure who it is. Probably Mike White or somebody terrible. Brock Purdy looks like he did some throwing without issue. They had a terrible time against the Packers, which was fun for me to see. I knew that they were going to lose that game, and they lost it hard. They got handed their worst defeat since like 2018 up at Lambeau. Yeah. And by the way, it snowed during the game, which I said that it would do. So even though my picks, I'm like not doing so well, and I think I'm only one game ahead of you. I did get that right, so I should get extra points for that, right?
Yeah, your weather report.
Yeah, my weather report. I knew it would be snowing at Lambeau.
I'll give you a half a point.
Thank you. Daniel Jones clears waivers. He's officially a free agent. That means he could sign anywhere. Who the hell knows where he could wind up? Possibly nowhere. Maybe he could be like playing Legos with Josh Rosen. We have no idea what could happen to him. Austin Eckler's in concussion protocol. Texans Jalen Peter out multiple weeks with a partial pectoral tear. I'm actually feeling sad about the Texans. It looks like they're slipping away. They lost to the Titans, which I get it's a divisional matchup and anything could happen, but is it because I started to care about them? Is that why they're failing? Is it me? Did I do this to them? Trevor Lawrence is back at practice. Don't know why. There's no reason to play him at all. Jacksonville near the bottom of the league, giving the Jets a run for the money. DeVito will start Thursday versus the Cowboys if he's healthy. We covered that.
I hope he is. I want to see what he can do. I'm just curious. Just because I mean, all the hoopla in the beginning of the season, mostly with his agent, the Guido agent that he has.
I've
It was
seen
following
pictures
him
of that
around.
guy since you mentioned him, and it was funny to see him. He looks like he's in the mafia
I
with his
saw a
gold chain and everything.
ton of stuff, but you didn't really see anything that DeVito did. Now, I'd be curious to see on an actual NFL field what's he going to do.
He had kind of a run last year where he kind of became famous. So I
get it.
To inject some life in the game, I guess I would like to see something happen for the guy.
Yeah, I mean, is it a flash in the pan, or is it bullshit? I don't know. I want to see him play.
That's kind of like the exciting drama about second string quarterbacks in general. Is like, are they a flash in the pan? Because like Gardner Minshew, obviously Minshew mania. He's never been like a solid starter anywhere. They've always had to like resort to Gardner Minshew, and yet he has a mania named after him. Even I don't have a disease or a neurosis named after me.
He pulls some crazy plays out, but it's plays that you wouldn't see a veteran seasoned quarterback do. But he's scrambling for his life or whatever. He's like, oh shit, oh that guy, I think he can catch it, and he'll fire it over. And some of the plays he makes are awesome.
And sometimes it goes down in history as legendary. Obviously, the Eagles won their first Super Bowl with backup Nick Foles, doing the Philly special and defeating the Patriots. That was kind of as hard as it was for me. It was kind of a big moment for all backups everywhere.
And we went through it last year with Jake Browning. We signed him in the offseason to a very, very good backup quarterback salary, as far as those go. Like he actually got signed, pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
But he came in and performed. So
right. Cowboys have 16 players in their practice report on Monday, including quarterback Cooper Rush. Rush is estimated as a limited participant with a knee injury. Tight end Jake Ferguson has a concussion. Linebacker Eric Kendricks, who is leading the team in tackles, has a groin and shoulder injury. That's 2 places, folks. Defensive end Marshawn Nealand has his knee hurt. Right guard Zach Martin, ankle, shoulder. Offensive tackle Asim Richards, ankle. Linebacker Nick Vigil, foot. Non-participants.
I was going to ask you, is there anybody on the roster left?
Ferguson and Martin not playing is where the heart has gone out of it. I mean, Brandon Aubrey's my favorite player, still active on the team.
I was going down the list. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, what's a roster?
I mean, I think, is Jake McQuaid still the long snapper? You would know. But I like the long snapper generally. I mean, I was a big LP Laducier fan I know you don't even know who that is, but anyway.
Oh.
He was a walk-on. He was a Canadian guy. He is 1 game short of Jason Witten for like the most games ever played as a Cowboy. He was a long snapper for years and years and years and years and years. Anyway, cornerback Deron Bland out with a foot. Wide receiver Brandon Cooks knee. Cornerback Trevin Diggs groin knee. Wide receiver CeeDee Lamb back foot. Left guard
Trent Slegg is their long snapper.
I don't know who that is. Whatever, man. Tyler Smith ankle knee were limited. Smith and Diggs did not play on Sunday. Cooks remains on injured reserve. Swing tackle Chuma Edoga. Left tackle Tyler Guyton, who's their draft pick. Cornerback Jordan Lewis and fullback Hunter Lepke were full participants. So that's good. Lepke, can be counted on to do some things every once in a while, but they're probably not going to give him much to do because that would be a good idea. Do you want to do the picks for the week? As you can see, my risks did not pay off. You're at a 6.654 and I'm at a 0.666. That's the situation. I've got to be like literally 1 game ahead of you at this point.
Sign of the beast.
Thank you for that. The sign of the beast.
666. Oh man. All right. So we got to fix that. You either need to win 1 or lose 1.
I know. Well, I've decided what should my strategy be? Like let Keith continue to fail and me do a great job, or me take risks to try to get ahead of you. Obviously the risks aren't paying off. But let's go through it, I guess.
Let's do it.
Bears, Lions. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with the Lions.
Same. Cowboys, Giants.
I'm going with the Cowboys.
America's team. We're going to win this on Thursday. I know it's hard seeing optimism from me. You don't like seeing the glint of hope in my eye because you know that I'm just going to overdose on gravy or something Thursday night. Thursday night, also Packers, Dolphins. I'm going to give this to the G-men, which I think are actually the Giants, but the Packers have a big G on their helmet, so I'm calling them the G-men.
I'm going to go Packers as well.
Go Cheeseheads Thursday night. We're going to have guests in the house who are Packers fans, so I want them to be happy, I guess. On Friday, we got Raiders Chiefs. Think that's going to be easy to call since we don't even know who the quarterback for the Raiders is.
Yeah, Chiefs.
Could be close though. The Chiefs were like they almost lost to the Panthers. Did you see that game?
Yes. I was hoping. But
can you imagine how good that would be for Carolina fans to beat the Chiefs? That would be like something that would keep them from slitting their wrists this holiday season, but it didn't happen. Came down to a last-second field goal. Was the only thing that kept them from not losing to the Panthers. So I'm still going to take the Chiefs, though.
Yep, me too.
Texans, Jaguars.
Texans.
That Jaguars ad, man.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus Christ. When there's not even a car in it. Makes a whole lot of sense. That's great branding, idiots.
The commercials have always been weird. I don't know if you remember, like SNL made fun of them, like, do you like luxury? Jaguar. You know, they've always been like weird about it. But now, like, their cars are woke, and why did they think that doing the Bud Light thing was going to pay off for them? I don't know, but I saw it had to be AI because I don't know how the Humane Society would allow this, but you saw there are a bunch of rainbow twinks all of a sudden getting attacked by an actual jaguar, being torn asunder. They're like, this is the only thing that could save their media campaign is if they release a follow-up commercial in which an actual jaguar kills wokeness right before your eyes in a bloody escapade. But I'm guessing the Jaguar will not do that. The stock has tanked. I don't know why they thought that was a good idea. Woke is broke. Woke's over, guys. You picked a really bad time to release that ad. And I'm sure that you made it before the election. But after you saw the results of the election, you should have burned all remaining copies.
Yeah, the timing. Yeah, the timing was just the worst.
Jaguar. Anyway, I'm going Texans. Colts, Patriots.
I'm going
Colts are 5-7. The Patriots are 3-9. So remember when these were the premier teams in the AFC?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you remember because you were a Bengals fan and you hated watching them every Sunday night. I'm going to go Patriots.
Ooh,
Chargers, Falcons. That could be a good game.
I'm going
Chargers are 7-4. Falcons are 6-5. Chargers looks like a wild card team. The Falcons would win their division, maybe. You said Chargers?
I said Chargers.
This is a chance where I could zig, where you would zag. I'm going Chargers. Chargers. Seahawks, Jets. I'm taking the Seahawks.
We both thought we already defined that. Seahawks.
That's just funny though, because in real life, an Osprey would not be able to beat a Jet. Boy, this show! What a great show. Redskins, Titans. The Redskins are 7-5, but they're on a 3 or 4 game losing streak. Titans just beat the Texans, so.
Oh, see that one's tough for me.
What's really tough is why aren't I calling them the Oilers if I'm calling them the Redskins? You know?
Well, that's true. That's true. I'm going to go Redskins.
I'm also going to go Redskins. All right, Steelers, Bengals. Taking the steel curtain.
I'm taking the Bengals because I have to.
Required by law. Take the Bengals. Cardinals, Vikings. The Cardinals are sitting near the top of their division. I thought they were at one point, 6-5. Vikings are 9-2. Remember, the Vikings only just barely squeaked it out against the Bears. Field goal at the last second. Actually, it was in overtime, wasn't it?
I believe so. I'm going Vikings.
I am too, because I bet on the Cardinals last week and they let me down. They were a team that I thought about caring about. That's why they also started losing. Rams, Saints. Rams were just humiliated by the Eagles. Of course, that was the Saquon Barkley effect. Saints still, I guess, showing up every Sunday to play. Rams are 5-6. The Saints are 4-7.
I think that's going to be a close game, but I'm going to go Rams.
I'll go Saints.
Yeah.
Just to possibly ruin my life. I'll go there. I'm going to bet on the Saints. What am I thinking? Bucks, Panthers. I'll take the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bucks as well.
You should not pick the Panthers ever. Eagles, Ravens. That'll be a good game. I'm going to have to go Ravens just because I hate them fucking Eagles. The Eagles are 9-2, where the Ravens are 8-4. The Ravens had such a strong start first half of the season. looked to be the top team in the NFL. The Eagles were kind of middling, but after the collapse of the Redskins, they're looking to take the NFC East, which makes me want to die to say. But that looks like the Eagles are headed to the top and the Ravens are headed towards the middle. So what do you think?
I think the Ravens are going to be pissed from losing to the Browns, so I'm going to take the Ravens.
You know, what is it with the Ravens and the Browns? Did they lose? Did they get shut out by the Browns in both games this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
The AFC North is nothing to fuck with, even though some of the teams look like shit on paper.
Well, you guys have like one of the weirdest divisions in all of football. You guys are all really weirdly close to each other. You all have like very incestuous relationships. Like your team's owned by the Browns. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the Ravens used to be the Browns. Like all of you have like you have 4 teams there, but they all used to be one team at one point, you know? Fuck. It's very confusing. I mean, don't look into it. It doesn't matter, but the history between the Ravens and the Browns and the Bengals and the Steelers used to be an NFC
island.
team.
They're on their own little island.
It doesn't make sense. It's very weird. Steelers, yeah, very strange. 49ers, Bills. I'm going to have to go with the Mafia on this one.
Yep, me as well.
And then I'm sure you're going to take the Broncos over the Browns on Monday night.
I am.
All right, so we have pretty much agreed on everything. It all comes down to the fucking Saints and the Rams.
You picked a couple different games.
What did I pick that was different?
I thought you picked a couple different games because you're like, I'm gonna zig when you're gonna zag.
Did I take the Eagles?
No, you did not take the Eagles.
I took the Ravens.
Yeah, we'll figure it out after.
I took the Bucks. I took the Bills. I took the Broncos. I took the Vikings. I took the Steelers over the Bengals. So there's 2 games.
Yeah, it's 2.
All right.
I guess it's the same as last week then, because you said there were only 2 different games.
So in other words, you have the potential. If I lose both of these games, you're going to take the lead this week.
Yes, that's what we're hoping.
We are. Why don't we stop and check the comments? There's some people in the show that aren't normally here. I wanted to say hi to Jenny Alvarez. She's here. She's fun to talk to. It's nice that she dropped by. Marine's Blood's always here. He wants us to go all day. He just wants us to talk and talk and talk and talk. He took Monday and Tuesday off, so it's throwing him. It feels like a Thursday day. He said it would be crazy if we weren't going to release it. A whole employee struck. I don't even know what he's talking about. They're having a whole conversation here without us. Guys,
I've been involved a little bit.
Oh, well, it's nice that you're in there because I'm just trying to do the show. Jill, good to see you. Glad that you're here. The only thing I got left is the Rams receiver picking up a DUI. You want to talk about that, or you just want to go?
Yeah, we can just go. I mean, it's another celebrity that gets popped for a DUI, and then we'll see what happens after. We'll see if he shows up or if his charges get dropped.
Damn it, DeMarcus, get an Uber. Yeah, I know they're trying to play it up. The truth is that DUI arrests in the NFL are not uncommon, but they're actually really, really, really common in the general population. DUI arrests are way more common in the general population than they are in the NFL.
Remember when we did that comparison?
I remember that. It was one of our first episodes.
That was a long time ago. That was like a year ago, John.
A long, long time ago. I was a different man back then. Now I'm matured.
I've changed my ways.
Changed so much. Keith, I wish you a happy Thanksgiving, you and Jill. This is your first Thanksgiving as a engaged couple.
It's facts.
Want nothing but the best for you and your family. And I know your mom's gone, but this is your chance to make Thanksgiving your own. And I hope you have a good time and I hope you enjoy time with your family and watching football, and then just relaxing and taking a break from life. And I hope you don't think about anything that stresses you out. And I hope you just have a good break, a good holiday. Of course, we're all counting down the days until January 20th, completely eclipsing Christmas. Of course, none of us cares about Christmas this year. Just kidding.
No, I hope you and your family have a good Thanksgiving. I know you got peeps coming in, so it's always stressful but fun, entertaining. It's depending on who it is and who you are. But I hope you guys have a great holiday. Eat all of the food. Take many naps.
I always just put a lot of NyQuil in the cherry pie.
That's perfect.
Helps me sleep.
God, why didn't I think about that?
I don't know. Probably because you're on the side of not doing any harm. I don't know. You're like not about like poisoning people or whatever. All right, guys, we will catch you back here on the other side of Thanksgiving. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Thanks to Old Growth Lumber for always supporting us. We appreciate Old Growth Lumber. Harder and harder to find these days.
Thank you, everybody that's been in the chats and supporting us for the last year. We appreciate you, and we're thankful for you, and hopefully you continue to do so.
When's the next episode of One More and I'm Out of Here?
We're going Saturday, 5 Eastern, and that should be a fun one, depending on how the Ohio State-Michigan game ends up, but I'm pretty sure I'll be tuned up anyway, so it might just be worth comic relief just to tune in. I don't know.
All right. Well, guys, just remember Des caught it.